there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsden.
I'm Jeff Searcy, brought to you by Allmart.
Oh man, this episode of Horror for the Holidays is brought to you by Allmart for all of your needs. Shop Allmart.
Better make this a good one, or corporate's gonna have our ass.
Oh man, yep. After that last episode ended with us saying we were willing to take billionaires' money, Allmart got in touch. Yeah. And we're now the sole property of Allmart. We're coming to you on the Allmart app, the Allmart streaming service.
Allmart Plus.
Yep. So make sure you pay your $5 a month to get $4.99 even, actually cheaper than $5.
What a steal.
So you could get your Allmart pass and listen to Horror for the Holidays.
You know, with that kind of sales pitch, how could you say no?
So let's get into it. Let's set the scene for today's episode. Let's deck the halls. This week, we watched Black Friday, as we talked about on the last previous episode.
Gave a cryptic hint.
Yeah, by saying the exact words, yeah. Black Friday.
We're going to watch Black Friday next time.
So this was released in 2021. Directed by Casey Tebow. Unsure if related to Tim in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, definitely.
All I could find about Casey Tebow here was a lot of previous jobs as a director in like music videos, concerts, documentaries, stuff like that.
So possible first feature.
Written by Adam Greskawa. This appears to be the only credit on Adam's page, but pretty good story. Starring Devon Sawa of Final Destination, Casper, SLC Punk, and most importantly, the Chucky TV series. That's important to our interest because I believe next week's episode, the season finale of season 2, was a Christmas episode, so we'll probably have to watch that at some point.
Definitely will.
Ivana Baquero, which I believe is Marnie, appears in the Spanish film A Christmas Story, which is right in our wheelhouse. It's about, I think, some kids on Christmas find like a person dressed as Santa Claus like trapped in a hole or something like that. Sounds really creepy.
Sounds interesting.
And then also some guy named Bruce Campbell appears in this movie.
Bruce Campbell?
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, I don't know, but supposedly we'll see him again in Maniac Cop and Maniac Cop 2, which Maniac Cop 2 is a Christmas film. And maybe some other movies.
Oh, maybe it'll be good. I don't know.
I don't know if he'll ever make it. Some other stars, Michael Jai White, Stephen Peck, Ryan Lee, and then Seth Green as the voice of Dower Dennis.
God, I need me one of those bears.
It took a long... I was watching it, I think the second time around, like it was right at the end, and I went, is that Seth Green's voice? Like, oh, yeah, it is.
Damn you, Seth Green.
Filmed in a former Babies R Us store, which I think if you kind of look like it does.
Yeah, you definitely can tell.
Here in town, it kind of looked like where the Borders used to be in West Des Moines. Like it kind of looks like that shopping mall area. Yeah. And then director Casey Tebow did all of the music in the toy store, and did it all on GarageBand, so he had like some royalty-free Christmas music he could play.
Nice.
Which I thought was pretty cool. Do you have anything?
I know it was filmed in Baston. Going down to the harbor.
I think I read somewhere. Oh, Jeff, don't.
Oh no, the house is collapsing.
There was a thing I didn't catch it, but apparently they mentioned a bunch of counties or a bunch of like locations.
Yeah.
And they're all the names of famous directors. I thought that was kind of cool. I wish I would have written that down.
Yeah, that was a cool little thing they put in there.
Do you want to get into it? Talk about the movie?
Yeah, we might as well get started. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so our synopsis, we start off with Allmart. An Allmart employee is getting ready for Black Friday. I think there's some line about like, you see someone kind of like run by like the front window and like bang on the glass and they're like, how early are they going to get here? We're not open yet. And they're like, oh, they started arriving at noon last year. And the guy's like hanging up a banner for Black Friday, and there's like a crash, and you see like some light shining through.
It looks like basically like a meteor fell through or
Yeah,
something.
meteor fell through the ceiling, and as the employee goes to check on it, finds like the meteor is like this purple pulsating.
It's like a gooey mass. It's a xenomorph thing combination.
Right, and it launches like something out at him.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of fades to black. We come back and like the other employees are looking for that guy, and they kind of find him, and he's huddled behind this thing, and he's like all zombified and infected, and he attacks them, and then we get our opening credit sequence for Black Friday. Which I thought the opening credits were fantastic. There was
really well done.
There were a lot of shoppers getting like trampled in Black Friday, black and white scenes, and then apparently a Sinatra-esque song by a guy named Patrick Stump.
Yeah,
Have
that
I
was
Got a
pretty good.
Gift for You, which is a real toe tapper.
Yeah, it's very Family Guy.
We then get Devon Sawa's character Ken is dropping his daughters off at his ex-wife and her new husband Grant's house before he goes to work.
Come on, kids, it's Thanksgiving breakfast.
Yeah, Dad, we had such a. Can't we have Thanksgiving with you? What are you talking about? We had Thanksgiving breakfast.
We don't want to spend Thanksgiving with Grant. He farts all the time. And he's boring as hell.
We then cut to Chris, who's another employee who's getting ready for work, which is his real shitty parents a happy Black Friday before he gets picked up by Ken.
Yeah.
We then arrive at work. We are kind of introduced to the rest of the cast. There's Marnie, there's Ruth, there's Anita, there's John, Brian, Emmett.
This is where I think we
Bircher.
see our first We Love Toys badges and stuff at this point.
Yeah, they work at a toy store called We Love Toys. There's all sorts of Christmas decorations. It's Black Friday. It's day after Thanksgiving. They're really getting in the holiday spirit. I think most of the movie, Devon Sawa wears a Santa hat.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all sorts of Christmas stuff all around. We get a couple shots of both people milling around outside the store, customers waiting to come in, and then a couple of the employees inside like complaining about like not feeling well. One of a trucker mentions that he has to use the bathroom. And
he basically almost tramples the guy to get by.
Right. Ken promises Marnie that he'll buy her pancakes in the morning when he gets his Christmas bonus, while Chris is in the back room getting chastised by Anita. Anita apparently has won Employee of the Month like every week for her entire career there.
The Office suck up. We all know him.
Yeah, we basically get to see, for 1 second, we briefly get to see Curse of Chucky on the TV, which I think is a reference to Devon Sawa being in Chucky.
Almost certainly.
We see a meteor, like Devon Sawa goes over to like the Santa throne in the store, and there's like a hole in it. I don't know if we see a meteor under the hole.
We see that purple blob type thing.
Yeah.
Like slowly growing out of it.
Yeah, but yeah, so he kind of notices that, and then we cut to Bircher, who is another employee. He steps outside to get a smoke break.
The Office asshole.
And he sees like a hole through the hood of a car, and he sees like the purple glowing underneath, and then he's kind of attacked by whatever.
Oh, first he locks himself out again.
Yeah, he accidentally locks himself out of the thing while getting a smoke break.
I locked myself out again.
And then gets
attacked by one of the creatures.
Or the purple, like the meteora gets him or whatever.
I think it's at that point that they open the store.
Yeah, they're getting ready to open the store. Chris complains to Archie, Michael Jai White's character, about not getting Employee of the Month that month. And it ominously says, I even learned how to drive a forklift for nothing.
Oh, and this is the point, I think, where the floor manager is like being unnecessarily hostile to Chris.
Yeah, no, Brian, the floor manager, is a real asshole. Then we get
Oh, this is also the point where she asks about her Christmas bonus, remember? And he's like, yes, that is still happening.
Yep. Yes, totally happening. And we get Jonathan. We're introduced to Bruce Campbell's character, Jonathan, the store manager, kind of giving a speech, a pre-store morale boosting speech about Black Friday.
Greetings, employees. It is I, Jonathan Wexler.
We learn that there's a new hot Christmas toy called Dower Dennis, which is a big teddy bear wearing like an office shirt. It is being recalled due to like overheating issues or something like that.
Fire.
The customers are allowed in the store. And we get, they're all trampling and
Yes, they
fighting
all
with each
pour
other.
in, and you can kind of tell that some of them have the symptoms of being sick already.
We get like a scene of like Marnie looking at like an old man getting distracted, and he's like staring directly at her. He looks all kind of sick. She looks away, and then she looks back, and he's gone. And there's a real bitch of a grandma, get like screaming at Chris and yelling at him and calling him like a limp dick and stuff like that. Brian basically tells her to go wait at Santa's workshop or whatever. And she goes and she sits down on Santa's throat, and we see the pulsating meteor underneath her. Chris is on his way. Chris has to like go clean up some puke since he was kind of chastised for closing down that lane at the cashier.
Oh yeah, because he didn't want to be on the register all night, and then so the asshole manager's like, oh, now you get to go out on the floor.
Yep, go clean up this vomit. And oh my, if I had recently, I think Jeff and I have both been struck down with a bit of a stomach bug. We've both been throwing up. I've never seen throw up that looked that bad. I would have been very concerned.
Yeah, it looked like somebody threw up about 3 pounds of Olive Garden.
Chris goes to clean that up and then is attacked by 2 different customers, and he like beams one of them like with the mop, and then like pushes them face first into like a Power Wheels like pink SUV.
Yeah.
They're kind of, because they kind of got to clean out the store, call the cops because of 2 customers just attacked an employee. They're trying to herd the customers out of the store, and Emmett gets webbed by one of these customers that's infected. Ken fights her off by hitting her in the head with a skateboard.
Yeah.
Where I think he says like, I've been here 10 years and I just learned how to ride one of these things. Jonathan tries to reassure everything that like everyone's normal. He gets a little mad. He's like, why are we sending everyone out of the store? It's Black Friday. And when people are kind of like, Chris was just attacked by 2 employees and Emmett was just attacked by another one. And Jonathan's like, it's just Black Friday. Excitement is in the air.
Yes. I think we've all known a manager like this.
They try to call 911 and apparently it keeps going to voicemail.
I didn't even know the police had a voicemail.
Emmett starts like convulsing and pukes up like a bunch of like blue saliva, and then launches the webbing out of his mouth at Anita, and it like a talon comes out and like pierces her throat, killing Anita. He then like lets out this monstrous roar as he begins to like mutate, and Archie comes up with his nail gun and like unloads a bunch of nails into him, and Emmett runs out the door.
Yeah, damn new guy.
They're able to get a hold of the Schomburg store. They've been calling around trying to kind of find out what's going on.
Somebody finally answers.
And they get a hold of the Schomburg store, and they're basically like, they're also being attacked, and they're told not to let shoppers gather because they're building something. Mm-hmm. And then at one point, like, they think Anita's dead because they watched her throat get ripped out by that talon.
Right.
But she kind of like wakes up and tries to attack Jonathan. Ken and Jonathan get attacked by the trucker in the bathroom. The one who was earlier saying that he had to use the bathroom. They go in. I think Ken's trying to fish out his like bottle of whiskey out from
out of the ceiling
tile. And then it breaks, and then he sees the trucker's
pans
feet
down. You can see the feet stand. This is a really good shot.
Yeah, and so he attacks them. They're able to use the broken bottle to like stab the trucker in the neck and kill him.
And Jonathan helps like very minimally, and then super excited about it.
Yep. Meanwhile, Archie, Chris and Brian are trying to close the emergency exit that got opened at some point, and so infected customers are still able to get inside. While navigating around the store, Archie's pretty much proves to be the only competent person in the entire store, like killing kind of zombies left and right.
It's kind of implied that he must be like ex-military or something.
Marty gets a glimpse of a large pink cocoon-like structure that the infected are building and then also being absorbed into.
They're getting absorbed into the sack.
They all kind of make their way to the front of the store. They get the emergency exit closed, and Ruth is kind of staring out, like she's like, "Oh, the police are coming," and the police car just rams through the front of the store and kills Ruth.
Yeah, I was like, yes, it's like they give you that little second. Everybody gets back together. They let it breathe for like 10 seconds. Then that car just crashes through there and kills her.
Archie, they all kind of try to make their way to the back, and Archie saves Chris before getting killed by whatever advanced form of mutant that the bitch of a grandma turned into earlier.
Clearly, there's different classes of these infected.
There's like the basic ones where it's kind of like boils and stuff on their skin. There's like a more advanced one where they get kind of like talons and like their
Emmett
face mutates a bit.
Emmett,
now later we see Bircher. Yeah. And then there's whatever the granny turned into where she's like
Like if
full on mutant.
like if you're using like insect terminology, she'd be like a soldier ant, basically, like one geared more towards combat.
Yeah. And so she kills Archie, and kind of off screen we see him like fighting off a couple different infected, and then like looks up, and the webbing like shoots down and pulls him up out of screen.
So everybody else runs and barricades themselves in the back at this point.
Yeah, and then the infected Emmett also appears more advanced. They get into the back room, and
Isn't this where they all stop and start talking about how long they've worked at the store?
a little bit earlier, the Emmett like gets it is still in the back room. I think maybe chases them into the back room, and Marnie gets like a pipe wrench and starts bashing him in the head like repeatedly with it. You'd think enough to kill the guy. And then they all kind of like have like a talk about like how long they've been at the store, you know, what We Love Toys means to them, stuff like that.
Gives you a little more insight into Jonathan.
Yeah, they all kind of agree on an escape plan. They're gonna go through the semi truck that was in the dock, and they're gonna try to get out through roof access.
Don't forget, they all have the sliced turkey that they pass around in their sad Thanksgiving parody
Yeah,
dinner.
this sad little Thanksgiving dinner they have. They're gonna escape through like the roof hatch of the semi truck, and the Emmett mutates again, attacks Ken, and Ken gets bit by Emmett, and basically tells them like, "I'll stay behind." You know, like you know, doing the honorable thing. You know, you get bit by a zombie.
Time to escape. Yeah.
Well, in most of these movies, you know, they do a nice way of twisting this. They in most of these movies, the person hides that they're infected, and this way around, he says, "Oh no, I've been infected. You guys need to go on without me." While trying to start the truck, Chris sees Bircher and realizes that he's infected as well, and like we said, is a little more mutated than the rest of them. They then start attacking the truck, and like their hands are just able to burst through the side of the truck.
Yeah, so they abandon that idea.
Meanwhile, Ken still hasn't transformed, and he's getting kind of mad that he hasn't transformed yet.
Don't forget his companion, Dower Dennis.
Yep, and he's hanging out with Dower Dennis, with a malfunctioning Dower Dennis doll. He gets attacked by the granny again. Ken turns on a bunch of like flammable gas in the store as the Dower Dennis malfunctions and catches fire. Which, you know, that's gonna come. Those two things are gonna come into play later.
I think this is the point where it gives you another shot of that weird glowing cocoon thing as it's growing to encompass most of the store.
Yep, and everyone else kind of escapes through the roof. Jonathan creates a distraction, allowing everyone else to escape.
In a total turn against his character, he sacrifices himself for his employees.
Yep, and they jump into a dumpster as the cocoon continues to grow up through the roof. Brian admits that he's actually the one that bit Ken, not Emmett.
Great twist.
Yep. So the whole is kind of like we said, a whole play on the idea of like the infected person not admitting they're infected, where in this one like Ken thinks he's infected, lets everybody know, and then it turns out he's not.
Yeah.
We see the granny like she fights with Ken a little bit, and then she turns and like also gets absorbed into the cocoon.
This is the point where it starts to show its form a little bit.
Yeah, it's basically like the cocoon bursts through the top of the roof, and it turns into like this giant mutated mass of all the shoppers.
Yeah.
And I think one of the heads of the cocoon has like a Karen style haircut.
Yeah, it does.
Which is very funny. Brian goes up and tries to reason with it because
I'm going to use my manager skills.
Yeah, I'm going to use my managerial skills. At its core, it's still just a shopper. I've trained my whole life for this. And I think as Ken says to Chris, he's like, because Ken runs out shortly after Brian gets killed. He's like, "Do you see that? He got flicked across the parking lot like a paper football." Yeah, Ken meets back up with Marnie and Chris, and they need to create a distraction. Chris gets in the forklift, putting his forklift driving that he learned how to do, mentioned earlier in the movie, to good use, and they distract the monster long enough for him to kind of get it going. It webs the forklift, and Chris has it in reverse, so it's kind of backing up, creating a lot of
momentum, basically, that's going to work against the creature when it finally is able to drag it in.
Yeah, and so then Chris jumps out, and the forklift launches back at the creature, piercing it, and it causes the creature to die and fall into the flames.
Well, at first you wonder, is it going to work? Because he's just kind of tottering there, and then he finally falls back.
The three of them escape in Ken's car. Ken learns, I think, a little earlier that like his daughters are safe. They've set up safe havens. And he's like, "Let's get to a safe haven. But first, I owe Marnie some pancakes."
And then it just pans into the background. You see these other stores with the giant monsters.
Yeah. There's more monsters popping out of other stores, and they drive over a Dower Dennis toy as they're leaving, and the Dower Dennis says something like, "It's been a long day, and this is surely the end." And that's how the movie ends.
Yes, Chekhov's forklift paying off once again.
Yep. So that was our synopsis of the movie. Let's get into our minutia section. What do you want to start with?
Do you think this is really a Christmas horror movie, or is this more of a Christmas corporate horror parody?
I mean, that's the thing is like, it's not, you know, it's a Black Friday movie. I mean, it's a retail horror story.
I was gonna say it's like not so much the shoppers being the monsters. I thought was a really good idea to go into this whole corporate parody of what it's like to work at one of these giant chain stores.
But it was, you know, but there's certainly Christmas stuff around. It's got all the trappings, and they picked the, you know, by picking Black Friday, not only does it make it, you know, have all those Christmas trappings around, all those little things we look for in these Christmas movies.
It's definitely a good bridge between the holidays.
But, you know, any retail worker will tell you that Black Friday is the worst day of the year.
No, basically the end of November through the middle of December, the worst for retail people.
Yeah, it's not, you know, like truly it is a Black Friday horror movie. But it's got, like I said, it's got all those trappings. There's a Santa's workshop.
There's definitely enough Christmas in here to qualify for our stuff.
Yeah, and so I think it works. You know, next year maybe we'll do Christie or Blood Rage, a more Thanksgiving movie.
That's what really struck me about the whole thing. It wasn't particularly scary. It was just the corporate parody aspects are what stuck with me.
So do you want to just start with Christmas carols, our favorite quotes from the movie?
Basically everything Dour Dennis says, of course.
Dour Dennis has some great lines. I don't think I have any other than that last one, but the Dour Dennis doll is malfunctioning the entire movie.
I'll pull up my page if you want to read some.
All right. When Ken goes to drop off his daughters at Grant's house, with his ex-wife and Grant's house, the older daughter says, like something like, "We don't want to go there. Grant smells like Axe body spray." And the younger daughter says, and he farts all the time.
Won't stop farting. God.
And then when Ken and Chris are pulling into the We Love Toys parking lot, like an ambulance speeds by, almost runs them off the road, and Ken goes, "I guarantee you that was some soccer mom high off the thrill of being a douche."
Oh, of course I had the I locked myself out again.
I have a couple Ruth quotes. One, Ruth is the kind of the older lady who's been at the store for a long time.
Yeah.
She goes, "You know, the first time I worked Black Friday, they separated the shoppers by race."
Yeah, I do remember that one.
And then another time, Ruth is talking to Marnie about Ken, and she says, "Oh, so more like consensual fuck partners," and she does a jack off motion.
Yes, I remember that one as well.
There's also a moment where Ken is when he's trapped in the back, and he says, "Fuck off, Dour Dennis."
I like can't remember if Ken says it on the floor or in the bathroom with the trucker, but when he's like, "Back the fuck up, homie."
There's also a line where I don't think I have it written down, but Ken's talking to Emmett, like he's like, "Rule 1 about working retail: be an idiot." He's like, "Someone asks you where the yo-yos are, what do you tell them?" And Emmett's like, "Where the yo-yos are?" And he's like, "No, you just point them in a direction. They'll find it themselves."
All right, I got my list ready for him. All right, so Ken, this is some next level bath salt shit. Jonathan, no, it's just Black Friday. Excitement is in the air.
There we go.
And then Anita's like, Green Friday. And then Jonathan seizes on that immediately. He's like, "That's right, baby. Green Friday. It's all part of the fun. It's competitive shopping."
Fucking love Bruce Campbell.
And then when he's on the roof making his sacrifice, he's like, "You know the worst thing about holiday shoppers? They can never accept that the night is over."
Then he jumps down the fiery hatch and takes all the infected with him.
When they open the doors and Archie's like, "Ready for the shit show."
I have one where when they get out into the parking lot, when Chris, Brian, and Marnie get out into the parking lot, Chris is like, Brian says something about, "We should call the police." And Chris goes, "The police are here and they're monsters now." And Marnie goes, "Now?"
Yeah, that was pretty good. Now that I love the part, I mentioned it earlier, where she's like, "Well, at least we'll get our Christmas bonuses in the morning." Yes, that is definitely still happening.
Jonathan at one point says to Brian, "Well, unfortunately, these things are hungry and you're the slowest and the juiciest." And then later Brian's like, "I can't see anything." And Jonathan goes, "Shut the fuck up, Juicy."
Oh god, there's just so many great lines.
No, there are a lot of great lines. There's too many to count. These were just the ones that stuck out to me, and I'm sure the ones that stuck out to you.
Um, what was it when he tells him that he's gonna get laid off? He's like, "Yeah, you with all your bathroom breaks."
Yeah. I'm washing my hands. Maybe even says like, I'm the only person here who washes their hands.
Yeah, it's just the whole corporate parody thing. Just still, it's because I could totally see that happening. It's like, oh, you take too many bathroom breaks.
Yep. Been there. Let's get into the next one. Christmas sweater, kind of costuming decisions. We've like I've said in the past, we've kind of looped into like other
Set decoration
stuff
yeah.
like that.
I mean, the toy store looks great. The monsters look great. I really like the design of like the web sucker thing that they throw on people's faces.
No, they look cool when they're infected. I think maybe not everything's practical, but a lot of the stuff looks practical and looks really good.
I thought the design, like you were mentioning at the end of the giant monster with like the Karen haircut added in and stuff.
There's a when we are first introduced to Jonathan over the loudspeaker, it's cutting to different images in his office.
Yeah.
And he has a trophy. And this caught my eye. I had to go back and made sure I read it right. He has a trophy for best regional manager runner up.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Which I think is just great. Also, man, Bruce Campbell can grow one hell of a great mustache. Mm-hmm. Second movie in a row where I've commented on someone's ability to grow better facial hair than my own.
Damn my bad genes.
I like the We Love Toys like aprons. Like, yes, I love like their uniforms. They look really good.
Really good, yeah.
And the you kind of commented on like the toy store looking great. It looks like a Toys R Us used to look. Mm-hmm. Like, we said they filmed in Babies R Us, but it looks like a Toys R Us.
It definitely gave me that feeling, yeah.
Like just quite a bit of nostalgia in that.
And just the way like Brian, the floor manager, the detail that stuck out to me was he's wearing the same uniform that everybody else is, but you notice like he's got his shirt ironed and his badge is straight and everything. It's like total assistant manager vibe.
I think even there's one point when like Chris talks about how much he fucking hates the job, and Jonathan says to Chris, he's like, "Oh, that's unfortunate. I always thought you were a management type."
Oh, I do remember.
And I think like Brian like looks at him and gives him like the side eye.
Oh man.
Christmas spirit. How Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills?
The movie's very Christmassy. I mean, it's pretty much plastered everywhere. You got your classic toy shop, Santa's Village. You got the Santa hats on the employees, lights everywhere.
I think there's a customer dressed as Santa Claus, like going in.
Even the Christmas displays. You've got like toy displays like you'd have at Christmas with the little trees and lights on them.
Kills not that Christmas. Other than monsters getting killed with toys. Like,
yeah. I mean, other than it taking place in a toy store, yeah, not very Christmassy on the kills.
Yeah, the kills weren't that Christmassy, but the set decoration was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's as we've gone on, like it's become kind of hard, to kind of quantify like what makes a kill Christmassy. Like, but it's kind of like it's kind of like it's
kind of one of those it when you see it things.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Supreme Court ruling on obscenity. Like I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
Like I know a Christmassy kill when I see it. None of these kills were that Christmassy.
Yeah.
Even if one of the monsters had gotten beamed with like one of those like large candy canes, like that would have been a more Christmassy kill.
Yeah.
Like broken bulb, brilliant bulb. What's one thing you would fix, and what's one thing you want to shout out?
One thing I would fix is I would have Archie go out in a more interesting way, not get killed off screen, because that kind of stuck out to both of us when we were watching it. It's like he was such a cool character. It's like you should have him do something more dramatic.
No, you and I were talking, and like I wonder if Michael Jai White had something else to do.
Yeah, I almost think that's what must be what it was. Like he's like, I got like 2 days to shoot this or whatever.
Yeah, like he was clearly the coolest person in the movie, and it sucked that he had so little screen time. My broken bulb was just the pacing seemed a little off. Like there were things that like took longer than I felt they should have, and like kind of made the movie drag. And then there were other things where I'm like, let's focus more on that, and they were just kind of like. Different zombie moments where it's like, or like infected, alien, whatever. Like I would have liked more with those. And there were some like quiet moments where I'm like, the scene that Jeff and I were talking about where they're all kind of talking about how long they'd been at the store. Like maybe cut that down a little bit and let's get a little more zombie fighting action or a little bit more of like them building the things. Like we didn't get a lot of knowledge about what they were doing until much later in the movie.
I don't think the length really needs to change. Just retool what you're focusing on.
Brilliant bulb, favorite thing in the movie.
My favorite thing in the movie was just the concept overall. The whole aliens infecting shoppers at Black Friday. That's like, you could easily do like another movie, a series of this if you wanted to. It's a strong concept.
Mine is the cast. And you know, and I'd also, you know, shout out the writer. Certainly, like a great concept, like you kind of said. But the cast, you know, you got Bruce Campbell, you got Michael Jai White, you got Devon Sawa, like 3 top tier names certainly, and you got some other, you know, some other actors with some appearances and stuff, and they all acted their butts off. They all did great.
Yeah, great performances for everybody.
No, like they had some great lines, they had some great jokes. Their delivery was fantastic. No, I shout out to all of them. They all did a great job.
I was just thinking, it's like you could easily take this concept and put it like, what if this happened in a hardware store? Think of all the interesting kills you could do with that.
What if this happened at the large bank that Jeff and I both used to work for?
Yes. What if it happened there?
I always used to, before they moved us out to West Des Moines, where Jeff and I were towards the end. We were at a downtown building, and I always thought, like, if the purge or the zombie apocalypse happened, like, man, this building would be pretty foolproof. Like, the hard part would be getting food, but at least you'd be safe.
Yeah. No, it'd be interesting in a variety of locations for sure.
Do you want to get into kind of final ratings? We rate these movies off of 1 of 3 categories. Is it ho 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 hilarious? Is it seasonally scary? Or is it you'll be sorry?
I'm gonna do ho 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 hilarious for me. I think it's the corporate parody aspects, like I said, really stuck out to me. I really enjoyed that part. It's not particularly scary. It's entertaining enough. It's honestly more of an action movie, I would say, than a horror movie. I mean, some people do find the whole zombie thing scary, but I never really have that much. But I mean, it's definitely not a you'll be sorry. It was enjoyable to watch.
For me, I you know, we have these dumb categories that we laid out at the beginning. And unfortunately, we're never going to change them. So these are going to be our 3 ratings.
Never changing.
And this movie, you know, kind of fit in like a couple of different places for me, and I wasn't sure where to put it. And I think I sadly, I got to go with You'll Be Sorry. It's not that it's a terrible movie. It's not that anyone did a bad job. I just, when we watched it, I just kind of felt myself getting a little bored. And I've said before, like, that's kind of my big thing. Like, if the movie's too boring, I don't like it as much. And, you know, we're going to watch worse movies than this. Like, I feel bad putting it, You'll Be Sorry. I'd like to, you know, if I could give it like a tentative or like a half You'll Be Sorry, a half ho 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 hilarious.
Okay, so you're saying it's on the high end of You'll Be Sorry.
Yeah,
then.
like I'd watch it, but it's kind of forgettable.
If Barricade is on the low end of You'll Be Sorry, this is on the opposite end.
Right. That. No, exactly. Like you know, if you're sitting down, if it's streaming on something, watch it. It, you know, if there's nothing else to watch, oh, hey, I heard, you know, the Horror for the Holidays guys talking about this movie, check it out. You know, it's fun, but like, it's not memorable. And, you know, and like I said, the pacing's a little off. There's just a couple moments where I just kind of found myself going like, well, you know, just a couple small things, a couple, like, make this scene shorter, make this scene longer. And I think I would have enjoyed the movie a lot more.
If you appreciate existential corporate dread, go ahead and watch it.
Oh no, absolutely. If you've ever worked a shitty retail job,
or just within a corporate structure in general,
yep, you'll see a lot of things that you'll enjoy. No, you know, but once again, for the large bank Jeff and I worked for, there was a lot of managerial speak that seemed very familiar.
Yes, definitely.
A lot of roles that seemed very, very familiar. Oh, hey, we had someone just like Anita who worked with us.
Yes, we did.
Let's get into but yeah, I want to reiterate again, like, it's, you know, it's on the high end of You'll Be Sorry. I liked the movie. I didn't feel comfortable kind of putting it in either of the other 2 categories.
I went with ho ho hilarious because for me the downsides were outweighed by how funny I thought it was.
Oh, that's fair. And one of the few times I think you and I have been split on our opinion. So it's always nice to have kind of a difference of opinion on these. But yeah, let's get into our naughty list, where we rank kind of
the parasite alien,
where we rank the villain of the movie, and we put them on the naughty list. You know, most naughty to least naughty. Where do you want to put? I don't know. Is it a zombie apocalypse, an alien invasion,
alien parasite attack? It's got to be pretty high.
I think it's probably the second most naughty thing.
I was gonna say, from sheer kill count alone.
I think it's right below, you know, all the people that died in I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday off camera.
I say it's a different flavor of apocalypse. I think it's a slightly less bleak apocalypse because there's definitely better chances of surviving something like this versus the nuclear holocaust. but yeah, I'd say the second place would fit for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to put it for now, and we'll at least have one more. I know. Well, I think we'll have a couple more zombie apocalypses too. So it'll be fun to kind of compare where we're going to put all these.
Gonna
at
have
the
to
top
rank
of the
all
table.
these damn apocalypses.
Yeah, find out which apocalypse is the most apocalyptic. So our next segment, we like to clean out our email inbox in a segment we like to call
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
Well, listeners, I'm sad to say once again, you've let Jeff and I down. We've got no Garbage Day emails to read out. So instead, we're going to shove more garbage in our face.
These fans are terrible.
So today, we're going to sample Haagen-Dazs peppermint bark ice cream bars.
You fans are making me fat.
So Garbage Day once again this week is how much garbage can Jay and Jeff shove in their face.
A lot.
So let's crack these open. I didn't try these last year, but I tried the regular Haagen-Dazs peppermint bark ice cream. I thought it was real tasty, and I saw these at Costco the other day. So I thought they looked pretty good. Jeff's taking a bite. Looks concerned. Nope, seems to like it. I'm going to open mine here real fast. Oh, smells good. Smells very pepperminty.
Very pepperminty.
They're, the other day they were, for I think like an 18 pack, they were $9 at Costco.
Wow. Really good. I like it. Yeah, I was hesitating there to bite at the beginning because I was like, how pepperminty is this going to be?
Oh, it's not too bad. I think it's pretty tasty. Now I've always liked the idea of peppermint ice cream, but I've never had peppermint ice cream that I've that has been fantastic, knock out of the park kind of stuff. But I thought that I bought this one last year because I'm like, Haagen-Dazs knows how to make a good ice cream. Mm-hmm. So I bought like the regular ice cream, not the ice cream bar, and thought it was fantastic. And so when I saw these, I knew I had to get it. But like normally around here, we're in Iowa, so we get a lot of Blue Bunny stuff. The Blue Bunny peppermint ice cream I think is trash.
I've never liked it.
But no, this stuff is fantastic. Very expensive because it's Haagen-Dazs brand, but real good, real good.
It's really good.
But yeah, so I don't know. Run out to your Costco and hopefully you can still get a deal on Haagen-Dazs peppermint ice cream, and hopefully we can stop shoving garbage in our face for our Garbage Day segment. So if you'd like to do that and, stop Jeff and I from getting fatter, you can send us an email at horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com.
Disclaimer, sending emails is no guarantee Jeff and Jay will not get fatter.
We still probably will. And as much as I can, use this as an excuse, like, oh, the reason I'm getting fat is because no one's sending Jeff and I emails. I mean, we'll still probably eat trash on the air anyway. It's just, it's just a fun excuse at the moment.
If you told her that, you'd just start sending us emails.
True. And then we'd have to find an excuse to eat trash. If you want to get in touch with us on social media, you can follow us on TikTok, on Twitter, as long as it still has breath in its lungs, on Instagram, and on Hive, the Apple-based Twitter clone. All of those are horror4 holidays.
Yes, and if you want to follow us for audio backups on YouTube, youtube.com/horror4theholidays.
In the coming weeks, I know the movie Christmas Bloody Christmas is going to be coming to theaters.
Violent Night.
Violent Night will be coming out. Jeff and my local theater is getting a showing of Krampus, so maybe yours is too.
The Mean One. The
Mean One will be hitting streaming services. Also, Christmas Bloody Christmas, I think, will also be on Shudder. And then there is a, I mentioned on the last episode, there is a horror-based Christmas comic book that is currently funding on Kickstarter. It might be on the last day when this episode comes out. It's called Holiday Spirits Volume 2. I bought it last year. It was a lot of fun. So give them send a few shekels their way, and hopefully they can get this second comic book made.
Yeah, definitely back it.
And I think coming soon there will be a Silent Night, Deadly Night comic book hitting store shelves. So go check that out if that's something you'd be interested in. It's, I believe, the creators of the original movie. They're doing their own sequel as opposed to Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. So that'll be interesting. I've got that pinned to in my poll list. And then otherwise, I can't think of anything else.
If you happen to live in a city with a Flicks Brew House, their Christmas Fest, I think, is starting December 1st.
Oh, yep, that's right. Yeah, that's where Krampus is going to be. Oh, yeah, and coming soon, certainly there will, if you have a certain kind of haunted house in your town. I know one of our haunted houses, the Slaughterhouse, will be doing a Krampus haunted house event. I went to it last year. It was a whole lot of fun. I would like to live in the Krampus haunted house, so I think that'd be a fun thing to do. But Jeff and I are hopefully going to go back to the one here in Des Moines this year. But look at your local haunted houses, see if they're doing one, because it's a whole lot of fun. And then also, if you have a Christ Kindle market in your town, they might be doing a Krampuslauf next weekend. So go check that out, or this coming weekend when this episode comes out.
Is Jolly Holiday Lights a regional thing, or is it all across the country?
I think it's just for Des Moines. It's because it's benefiting the Make-A-Wish Foundation here in Iowa.
Well, I'm sure you have some kind of local equivalent, but all those Christmas light displays are going to be opening this weekend.
And there's that other one, the Santa's Rockin' Lights, which I think that one is kind of regional or national. But I know there's like an Omaha one. That one's open, and those are kind of fun too. But yeah, the big kind of moving, dancing light displays, and just go and drive around and look at Christmas lights. It's always fun.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully, when we see you again in 2 weeks, we'll have a special guest with us if we can figure out how that works. And if not, and it's just Jeff and I, know that we couldn't figure out how that stuff works.
We could not figure out guests.
So we will see you again in 2 weeks, and we'll talk to you then. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.